All right, so let me get to it. The game that everyone is talking about, and what a game it was. A tremendous game one of the second round in the Western Conference playoffs. Los Angeles Lakers take down the Golden State Warriors 117-112 to steal home court advantage away from a Warriors team that some thought needed it, right? I mean, I know they didn't need it against Sacramento, but they haven't been a great road team all year, and they just lost home court advantage to the Los Angeles Lakers. And LeBron James played fine, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 3 block shots. But the star of the show, the superstar of the show, was none other than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis on a floor with LeBron James, second greatest player of all time, with Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, and now, yes, a top 10 player of all time. The best player on the floor was Anthony Davis. He goes for 30 points, 23 rebounds, 4 blocked shots, and 5 assists. Shot 11 of 19, hit all 8 of his free throws. Dominated the game to the point where the Golden State Warriors just decided, we'll pass when it came to getting into the paint. When it came to attacking the basket, when it came to trying to score in the painted area, Draymond, Wiggins, Looney, Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole, they all said, we'll pass. They stopped trying. That's how much of an impact Anthony Davis had on this game, and it led the Lakers to the victory in the first game of this series. And Anthony Davis, the numbers don't even do justice to what he did, because I just said he didn't only change the trajectory of shots at the rim, he changed the Warriors' game plan, their entire game plan. Like they just decided, nah, we're going to just shoot these threes and shoot these jump shots. That's how ferocious Anthony Davis was, and he's been that way throughout these playoffs. He did the same thing to the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they kept attacking because they can't really shoot, and he kept blocking shots. He had 26 blocked shots in the 6 games of those series. That was twice as much as any other player in the playoffs. Anthony Davis has been a beast. Now, offensively, he was up and down in the playoffs, and we're going to get to that in a few minutes. But the question I want to throw out there now, because LeBron's been fine. Again, and Draymond Green alluded to it, went on his podcast after the game last night and said, man, it is so strange, so weird to see LeBron James playing completely different. And Draymond is absolutely right. LeBron is playing differently. But I give that as credit to LeBron, because LeBron, when he was injured, looked at the way the Lakers were playing and winning without him, playing through Anthony Davis. Austin Reeves was doing his thing. D'Angelo Russell was doing his thing. Malik Beasley and some of the other players, Rui Hachimura, Dennis Schroeder, were doing their thing. And LeBron wisely said, you know what? When I come back, I just need to fit in. I don't need to take over. I know he took over a few games earlier, late in the season, and they kind of struggled in some of those games. And it seems like he has realized, and I get it, a lot of it's probably age and wear and tear. He's probably tired. He is too tired to dominate the ball like he used to, or too old to do that. He wouldn't last very long. But his decision to fit in is the right decision. And that's why it seems so odd the way he's playing. He's not playing poorly. I know he didn't shoot well. He needs to stop shooting all these threes. He was 1 for 8, I think, last night. But otherwise, I mean, heck, 22, 11, 3 blocks. He's playing great defense at the rim. Like, he's playing very strong basketball, but we are so used to seeing LeBron have his fingerprints on every single possession. Notice, I didn't say every game. For the bulk of his career, he has had his fingerprints on every single possession. Bringing the ball up the court. He passing it to whoever shoots it. Or maybe a hockey assist. Or shooting it himself. He was the system. And now, to his credit, he's being part of the system, which I personally believe is more conducive to winning. Because it allows all the other teammates you have to blossom and be the best players they can be. Now, I know LeBron's been on some teams where other guys couldn't do that much. So he had to do it all, and they would just catch and shoot, and that was fine. That'll get you 60 wins, but usually not a championship. This is the style that can get you rings, or a ring, another ring. He's already got 4. But as well as LeBron is playing in this role, the guy who has been the dominator for the Lakers is Anthony Davis. It hasn't been LeBron. And again, that is not just last night. That is throughout these playoffs, which, granted, it's only 7 games so far. And I know LeBron leads them in scoring. They're actually tied. LeBron, both of them are at 22.1 points a game. And Anthony Davis, though, is averaging 15 boards. LeBron's averaging 11. AD shooting 50% from the floor. LeBron 46. LeBron only shooting 18% from 3. Again, he needs to move in a little bit. Move in a little bit. But this is what I want to throw out there to you guys when you get your chance to call in. Has the torch officially been passed? Has Anthony Davis now taken the torch that he should have taken from LeBron James back in 2020 when they left the bubble? In fact, he should have taken it during those playoffs. Remember, he hit the big three-pointer. I can't remember which round it was. Might have been the conference finals against Denver, but I don't remember. But he hit a big three-pointer to win a playoff game, and he was playing lights out early in the finals against Miami, and then, as he is wont to do, he fizzled. Had, I think, a 5-rebound game, a 9-rebound game, which, that's not bad, but a 5-rebound game. You can't do that if you Anthony Davis. Yeah, 15.5 rebound game for Anthony Davis in the finals. Then a 22.9 rebound game, which isn't bad. But he stopped dominating. He could have been the MVP of those finals. It was LeBron, and deservedly so, because when AD fizzled, LeBron took over, and we all thought, the monkey's off his back. Now AD can be free. No worry, no more comments, no more worries, no cloud hanging over you that you can't win, you don't have a ring. You got your ring. And now go ahead and get busy and really shine. Because now you can play worry-free, and he didn't do it. And it wasn't just the injuries. Yeah, they're injuries. But it was also because he's just been inconsistent and hasn't taken the torch. Didn't take the torch, so LeBron had to carry it for a few years. But now has AD finally taken it? Let me answer the question. I think it's in the process. I haven't seen enough yet. No, it's still LeBron's team, obviously. He's the leader of the team. He is the leader. Even if AD leads statistically and all, LeBron's the leader of the team. Like Steph was the leader of the Golden State teams with KD. KD was the better player in those finals. But Steph, it was his team. This is still LeBron's team, but the best player right now, certainly, obviously, has been Anthony Davis. But have I seen enough to think AD's going to keep doing this? I'm not even asking you to get 30 and 23 every night. But I am asking you to not have some 12-point games. I mean, every blue moon, but blue moons don't happen all the time. Blue moons don't happen every other game. And that's what AD has been doing. His last series against Memphis, great one game, mediocre, solid the next. Great the next game, mediocre, solid the next. Literally, 22 points, game one. 13, game two against Memphis. 31 points, game three. 12, game four against Memphis. 31 points, game four, or 5. 16, game six. His defense and rebounding was great throughout that series, and it should be great every night. His offense has gone up and down. And I get it. You're not Kevin Durant. You're not going to score 30 every night. Fine. But I need you to stay aggressive, be a threat, and even if you don't get 20, you're aggressive and you're a factor offensively. Even if your shot is off, you're being aggressive and making the defense account for you. You're drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line. That's when AD will have officially taken the torch. Who knows? Maybe he'll do it in this series. Maybe he'll do it in the next series. But that's what he needs to do to officially take the torch. The torch is in limbo. The torch is hanging out there. LeBron's got to let it go. He's waiting. AD, come on. AD, come on, baby. Come on. It's yours. You can do it. Gave him a little bone last night in the press conference. Said, hey, you going to be up in there in the rafters with Kareem and Shaq and Wilt. Number 3, he's trying to give it to him. AD needs to take it. Good. So you got an answer for that question that we're throwing at the listeners? Has AD finally taken the torch from LeBron?
I don't know yet because we've seen too many 13 and 16-point games. When he plays like this, then the answer is obvious, Chris. We said this after they won the championship in the bubble. This team should have been his 2 years ago.
Right.
2 years ago. And it hasn't because he's not consistent. And then, of course, you mix in the injury. So when it's right and he plays like that, then you say, oh, my God. But then you have the stinkers that come every other game, or it seems like. So now if he throws in the stinker next game, then people will be going like, oh, here we go. If he plays great all series, then they got a great shot to win.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 877-99 on Fox. Your turn to weigh in on AD taking the torch or not.
All right, let's go to Brian in L.A. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, B?
Hey, what's up, guys? First-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, good to have you.
Yeah, so basically I just wanted to say that it's way too soon for the torch to be passed down to AD. He's way too inconsistent, not just with his play, but with his health. Like, how can you have the leader of the team play only like 50 games a season,
Yeah,
that's another problem, Chris. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's healthy.
Both of their leaders. AD and LeBron.
At least with LeBron, he's older. You get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know AD's don't want to be hurt, but he's hurt. Thanks a lot, Brian. Appreciate it. Frankie in Crenshaw, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
What's up, guys? How are you doing today?
Doing good.
Good, man. How are you?
So I just wanted to talk about AD was obviously great last night, but how good do you guys think this team could have been if they got rid of Westbrook last summer? Because I think we all know by now the guy holds teams back. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. But what do you think?
Well, he wasn't a fit. He certainly didn't hold the Clippers back. And I've said it, it's hard to win a championship with him. So he hasn't won one, and he's had some great teammates. But Rob, also this trade wasn't available last summer. I mean, they waited and they got a great deal. If they don't get these players for Russ, then they're not in the position they're in right now.
I don't know.
They waited and they got a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. I don't know what exactly was available or that they were holding on. I remember they were talking about they didn't want to give up a first-round pick, and that was the big holdup. But we all knew that some move had to be made. You just can't. What is it? The definition
they be here with Westbrook,
of insanity, right? To keep doing the same thing and thinking some different results are happening. And we knew that there was no way that they could just keep doing that. And eventually they gave up a first-round pick, which was all the talk because they've given up so many. They didn't want to give up any more, but we'll see. All right, how about Will in Wisconsin? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, Will?
What's going on, Rob? What's going on, Chris?
How you?
With this, I'm fine, man. Just actually getting back into the news flow here. I had some family loss there, so it's great to be able to come back.
Love and prayers to your family.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, thanks, gentlemen. But to your point, Chris, with Anthony Davis, and honestly, we may not see that from him in a definitive game. I mean, when you look at his career, he doesn't have like a LeBron-esque moment, right, where it's like in a playoff series. Like with me, as far as LeBron, his arrival for me was like those early series. I think at the overtime or so against, I think that was the Pistons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah.
Out of their last 30 points for the Cavs, 25 straight. Yep. That was definitely his arrival.
Anthony Davis doesn't have a game like that where you say, oh, here he's arrived. But his career, the thing that sort of led to this appearance on the Lakers, his prior statistical dominance there, on his efficiency. So I honestly think it's going to be more of how is he in the overall scope of this postseason? Did he take over the postseason, or was he just fulfilling an Anthony Davis sort of space?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday was a game he took over. That's right. Darn sure.
It's just about whether or not he can do it more than one night or every other night, I guess is it. Let's go to Robert in Georgia. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, Robert?
Hey, what's up, guys? Great show, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, a couple of things, man. I don't think it's AD's team, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if it was, if you go back to Game 4, at the end of the game, LeBron wasn't having a good game. Who they get a ball to tie that to even get that game to overtime? Look, he doesn't have an offensive move where you go to him at the end of games. I don't think he'll ever be a go-to offensive guy where you just design plays and give him the ball.
Well, Giannis doesn't really either.
Well, they give Giannis the ball at the top of the key, and he
they try to help him. Yeah, he tried to get in there in the paint.
Yeah, but
it's definitely still LeBron's team just because he's the leader and the elder statesman and the guy everybody looks up to, including AD. But I think at this point, AD is the best player. I think, but he's inconsistent.
We talked about LeBron. The biggest issues, despite his numbers, Chris, is that the impact on winning. We've seen him have plenty of big games and then lose. He has 30 points. Many. I don't know what the number is when he scores 30 in that record. It's probably of the last couple of years, Chris. It can't be great.
He could score 30 in game 2, and they could easily lose. If AD goes for 30 and gets his normal 12 rebounds or more, they're likely going to win. So